Hey guys, welcome into this week's video. This week we're going to be talking about what we'll be up to for the remainder of our semester here, which will be feature stories. To this point, you've already learned a lot. You've already done public service announcements, you've done the city features, but now, as with everything else in your Specs Howard time, we're going to be expanding. These feature videos will have more content, more interviews, and as a whole, will just be more in-depth. So it'll be about learning what is entailed with them, all of the requirements, and then we're also going to discuss best practices and the most logical progression in how to get through these things. You have seen features like this in your lives, whether it's a magazine-style format television show or even like a mini documentary. Those are some things that you've seen and would recognize from these, but we want to go over the requirements here at school so that you know exactly how to tackle these things, and let's get into it. So first of all, for the remainder of your course here at Specs Howard, you're going to be doing two features, one entertainment, one sports. Doesn't matter which one you do first, as long as you do one of each over the next couple of months. These features will have a total runtime of no shorter than 2 minutes and 30 seconds, no longer than 3 minutes. Timing is so critical in broadcast television. You must be within these requirements. No shorter than 2:30, no longer than 3. The next thing to keep in mind is everybody in your group will have a specific position to take care of. You'll have a producer, you'll have a talent, you'll have a camera operator, and you will have an editor. Each person does one of those jobs specifically. If you're a team of 3, one person might do 2 jobs. Typically, producer talent is the job that doubles up best, most nicely. Now, attacking this project, you can't just go somewhere and show up with a camera and say, hey, here we are, we're gonna shoot your thing, right? You need to pre-produce, you need to come up with ideas ahead of time. This is on your producer. This is the key core concept of what a producer does. They conceptualize ideas, they figure out where you're going, when you're going, they call ahead, they send emails, and they get all the ducks in a row, and then they help the team out to that location, to that event, whatever it might be. It's so critical that everybody gets on the same page and that this producer is leading the way. That's their job. While you're pre-producing, it's worth talking to your camera operator about, this is kind of what I want to shoot. You know, they're going to set up interviews as well. For this project, you want between 2 to 4 interviews. No less than 2 interviews, no more than 4. Anything more than 4 interviews tends to be a bit much for your audience for something that's only 3 minutes long. So it's worth your camera operator reviewing what those OTS shot styles look like. You've got relevant background, room for a lower third, proper headroom, and proper look space. Also keep in mind that a project of this magnitude is going to require tons of B-roll. So much B-roll. It's really critical that you don't say like, oh, we're just gonna get 20 or 30 shots. Man, fill that P2 card up. Ask your instructor for 2 cards and shoot as much as possible. Also keep in mind, you don't just wanna shoot wide shots. You know, those are great for establishing. Medium shots are okay. Close-ups, extreme close-ups, those are what you want. Those are the real attention grabbers. Those are the money shots that your audience is really going to react to. Also, best practice, when you go out on your shoot, try to do your interviews first. Get there early, obviously, but if you record the interviews first, you know what these individuals are talking about. You know the things they're going to discuss, and then you just get up and go and shoot the B-roll, you shoot the relevant video to everything that they said, everything that they were talking about. That is critical. Now, beyond the producer and the shooter, obviously you're going to have your talent involved in this as well. When you go out to your shoot, when you go out on shoot day, talent, dress the part, look good. First of all, ditch that lanyard when you get in front of the camera. Next, look nice. Again, you don't need that 3-piece suit that you were wearing during your live report, although if you do wear that, that's awesome and you look amazing. But just a polo shirt, some nice pants, some nice, maybe not jeans, not kicks, look the part, look professional. You're the first thing that your audience is going to see, so you're a really important part of this. You will do 2 stand-ups, the stand-up open, introducing the piece, and then the stand-up close, summarizing it as well. Ideally, you want to shoot these in different locations as well. Don't have the same backdrop for both of your stand-ups. Next, editors. Editors, while out on the shoot, you should be taking the log sheet. Just because you think that you're a post-production person doesn't mean you don't have a spot in the actual shoot day. You should be taking the log sheet for your camera op so that you know what has been shot, what needs to be shot, and where everything is, so that when you do get back to home base, You know the progression of things and exactly what you have to work with when it comes time for your edit day. Speaking of your actual edit day, once you have got so many good shots, once you've been out on location and you've got everything you need to create your masterpiece, you'll have your designated edit days here back at school. This is when editors definitely have time to shine. They'll create and put their own spin, unique work into this story, but the rest of the team is not finished. The rest of the team still has so much to do. Talent, you're gonna create voiceovers. The thing with the voiceovers is, and the necessity of the voiceovers is, you need to fill in blank spots that your interviewees did not talk about. And also, you need to connect certain aspects of the story. All of these sound bites that you get from your interviewees, they're not just gonna flow perfectly. That's where the voiceovers come in handy for your talent. Talent, work with your producer to come up with the proper wording. And then again, talent, you're gonna put your own spin on this too. This is your chance to shine and do some really creative things. Camera ops, you're not done either. You still have lots to do with this project once all the shooting is done. You're on the hook for creating lower third graphics and one full screen graphic. So anybody that is up on screen, you need to make that title for them. Name and then what their title was. Create a good, interesting, not busy lower third. You've all learned how to do this in Photoshop already, so you'll go and create these. You'll also create a full screen graphic that has something to do with the overall project. As usual, it's important to make sure that this thing doesn't look clashy. It's important that this thing doesn't look flat with your text. And it's also really important not to jam too much information on this full screen graphic. Keep in mind, it's only going to be up for 4, 5, 6 seconds. So you can't write a whole paragraph on there. With the full screen graphic, you're thinking more about just a few bullet points that will add an overall aspect to this project. Shooters, you are on the hook for the full screen graphic and these lower thirds. That's your job in the post-production process. Also, you are going to want to keep an eye on what the editor is doing. If you shot something amazing, let them know. Please tell them and be involved. This is a process for everybody on your team. It's a dynamic project. Everybody should be paying attention to what's going on and what's going into this project. That will help the overall quality of what the final product actually is. Another key aspect for editors, you've already found out how to find your footage, where it goes, where it gets saved. But a critical aspect is, especially with the voiceovers, when somebody brings you some information, whether it's voiceover files or full screen files or lower third files, they're gonna bring it to you with a flash drive. You're gonna put that flash drive into the computer. It's critical that you take those files and don't just import them directly from the flash drive. Take them from the flash drive and put them on the desktop in your class folder. Then take the flash drive out and then with Premiere, import those files from the desktop computer, from your folder that's already been designed. If you don't do that, when you pull that flash drive out, those files will disappear and it creates general mayhem. So best practice, as always, put the flash drive in, take the files from the flash drive, put them onto the desktop, flash drive out, then import the files using Premiere from the desktop. That is best practice for your project. These features are definitely the culmination of what you guys have learned here at Specs. You'll all be jumping into your own lane and deciding, I really want to shoot when I leave Specs, so I'm going to be the camera op, or I really love editing, I feel like that has a possibility for me as a career path, so I'm going to be the editor. These projects, as you can see and are probably getting a feel for, can be stressful. They're difficult, they take some time. We give you just enough time here at Specs to make good projects. However, it might require some open lab time to make great projects that you really love and that you're really proud of. It's a long path, it can be stressful, but also it's a lot of fun. These projects have the opportunity to be really, really cool, and I'm sure that your instructor will share some really fun examples with you, showing you things that have been amazing, doing interviews with really famous people or just fascinating people that are in the field. These features are a great opportunity, so we look forward to seeing them. Enjoy.